Hi guys, welcome to this Bangalore's pre-match discussion of Wolves versus Arsenal. I have Vivek, Anjan, and Jomi here with me. Vivek, first thoughts on the playing 11 today.
Um, I was very disappointed that Pepe wasn't starting, but now that Arsenal's released the official statement that he unfortunately couldn't make it because his wife is going into labor, I'm guessing there's not much we can say. Other than that, fully expected Cedric to start. I was wondering if Nketiah would come back, and that's exactly what's happened. So no real surprises. Otherwise, we're playing three at the back. From what I know, I'm pretty sure we'll also play three at the back with pretty much flying fullbacks. So Cedric hopefully can offer us a bit more going forward. I think all of us were kind of looking forward to seeing a fullback behind Pepe that can support him going in attack. Unfortunately, that might have to wait till the next match day. But all in all, an expected starting 11, other than the fact that other than Pepe's omission.
We're seeing a consistent back three and the midfield for the past few games. Is that going to help us perform better today, Anjan?
Hey, hi guys. So the thing about three at the back, like I think we spoke about Kolasinac fitting in the role of left center back. I think that's a good move because I think Traore. I'm not sure if he's starting or if he's on the bench. So he's gonna bombard on the wings, and I think having someone like a Tierney on the left really helps. And I think. Kolasinac is someone who can help Tierney with the defending on the left hand side. Suarez, I don't know. I mean, I was not expecting him to start. Compared to I think Bellerin, he's not that pacey. If we can compare them both, then again, Hector is coming back from a knee injury and his pace has dropped, so he's not the same anymore. So I hope the combination at the back works out. It's a solid one considering what we have. With respect to the midfield, see the general idea is have someone holding in the holding midfield role when you play away from the home, right? So I am not sure if Xhaka and Ceballos is gonna work out there. Sure, both of them are always keen on moving forward. So will that create some sort of a hole in the middle of the park? I think we'll have to wait and see.
Today is going to be a great test for our defense today, mainly because of Jimenez and Adama Traore playing, and I think they'll be exploiting the wings a lot, coming across and then trying to counter us a lot. So would be a proper test for our defense to see whether all the three centre backs hold good and whether Tini and Cedric end up coming back. So Vivek, do you see Cedric being a little more defensive compared to Bellerin, or what do you expect from him today?
Um, so to be honest, I just knew Cedric as a somewhat of a household Premier League name. In terms of what his traits were, I hadn't really paid much attention to it because who really watches Southampton play week in week out? Uh, but based on what Arteta said, that he is very good in the final third and that he has a good ball on him, a final ball on him. So kind of makes me curious to see if he is going to go forward as much as Tierney is, or if he's going to make the odd run forward to catch the defense off guard. He seems to be known for his final ball. And clearly he seems to have somewhat of a shot on him. That was a ripper of a goal, right? In the last game. So I'm very curious to see how this is going to play out. But at the same time, I'm quite excited in a weird way to see some new names on the team sheet. That always excites me because it's an unknown, and hopefully we are going into a good kind of unknown with Cedric. Worst case, we always have Bellerin. We have five subs, so we can always bring Bellerin on. I'm not sure on which side Traore is going to play, but if Traore is going to be running down Cedric, then that means it's going to be the duo of Cedric and and Mustafi that will have to deal with him, and he will be the primary threat. Make no mistake about it. So I'm hoping Mustafi and Cedric can hold him off. If it's going to be the other way around, and if it's going to be Tierney covering, I would be a bit more confident. So we'll have to see. And do you guys know what is Traore's preferred side on the
He's
flanks?
according to the team sheet, he's playing on the right, so he will be playing against Taney itself. I
Okay.
think looking at how we have like played with the three at the back, right? It's only mainly been towards teams against who had two strikers playing. Looking at the team sheet of Wolves, they are playing two up top. I think from that perspective, we can expect our centre backs to play well today, and actually play the same way how we've been playing with regards to clearing things out. But again, compared to Norwich, Wolves are a different ball game. So, Jomi, your thoughts on what can we expect from Wolves attacking line today?
Okay, so yeah, one of those games that we need to be showing how good we've become, right? I mean, there's a lot of hope and a lot of things been said about how we've been playing the last two games. Now this is one game that um, we can showcase how good we are. We also have a team that is trying to take our position right in the top six, if I may say, because of what's going on. So, well, I mean, I know a lot of people are talking about Adam Torero, but um and the likes of the ones in the friend, but it's not going to be a comfortable game. Definitely a away match, so it's going to be tough. But I think we should be able to beat them, though our away form is not that great.
Yeah, so I think, but we saw glimpses of Holding doing well with regards to clearing his all the crosses that's coming in. His headers, he were winning most of the headers. He showed that in the second half of the Norwich game as well. Should he have started
Should
ahead of?
he?
Anjan, do you want to take that?
Yeah, so I think it's again it comes to what Arteta prefers, right? I would definitely have had Holding. He's good in the air. He has been good in the air. Whatever past few um, games that he has played. Then again, like Arteta, seems to prefer Lewis. Mustafi, like we discussed, has had decent outings whenever he has played. So maybe he retains that place. And one of the things that why Kolasinac might be in the team. Again, Adama Traore is someone who is very physical, not to mention he's extremely pacey also. So I think one of the factors would be to um, deal with him physically is why Kolasinac is playing at the back three. So that may be one of the factors there with the selection of the back three. And yeah, they are a threat going forward. They have very good strikers. So whoever the centre backs are, I think they have to up for it because it's going to be a real challenge.
Yeah, just to add on there, I'm actually quite disappointed that Holding has been left out. Uh, Kolasinac, he's done all right, but he's not known to play in a back three. Holding, on the other hand, thrives in a back three, and he should have been played. So unless all this is still the process of nursing him back into regular Premiership football, I don't quite understand what the issue is there. Because in a back three, if you were to pick Kolasinac or Holding, be it RCB or LCB, it should just be one choice, really.
Yeah, and just to put in some stats, right? So we haven't beaten Wolves in the last three games. They won one and drew two against us. And since the restart, Wolves have won all the three games and have been unbeaten in eight and haven't conceded in 405 minutes. Again, they haven't played any big teams, and but still it's at a point where that run has to end, and we are playing away. So let's talk about how our new contract signee is going to play. He's going to play on the right wing, hopefully. So thoughts on Saka being in the front three today?
Yes.
So I like the prospect of Saka getting more and more game time. As for him playing on the right, what we saw in the first game against City, again it was City, so there was barely any promise there. Though maybe the one or two good moments did somewhat come through him. He seems to be your orthodox winger who can take the ball to the baseline and whip in a fantastic cross. So yeah, you're right though. He is going to play on the right because there's no Pepe. So would like to see how good he is with cutting in and playing as somewhat of an inside forward, or if he's going to play a bit more of a narrow role. So yeah, something to wait and see. But he's going to be full of confidence. He's going to be in his pomp, wanting to prove that the contract extension was well within his right because of how well he's been performing this season.
Yeah, so he I'm sorry.
Yeah.
If
Yeah. So
Another.
take
Sorry, go on, Chan.
yeah.
Sorry, go on.
Yeah, so not take nothing away from Saka. He's been brilliant, and I think he will do whatever he's been doing till now. But I think it may turn out to be a little physical for him to deal with the Wolves players. So that will be the real challenge, I guess, because no, I mean, like there's no question about his talent and what he can offer going forward. But will he be up for the pressing game, the tracking back is something I think it'll be an interesting thing to wait and see. So one more thing again, so the services from the wing backs, right? So I think both Cedric and Tierney are someone who bombard forward and dish in the crosses. I think that is what something we've been missing for a while now, and I think that is something we should keep doing, irrespective of what we offer, creatively somewhere else in the park. Because if there is no crosses, there is certainly a complete lack of creativity. At times, we've seen that, and we have craved for someone to create in the starting 11. So I think it's also important that we expect both the wing backs to offer that today.
Also, in our previous discussions, we've been talking about Lacazette starting all the home games and Nketiah starting all the away games. Then that the trend seems to be continuing. Ankur, any thoughts on Nketiah starting ahead of Lacazette?
Hi. No, nothing. I mean, you mentioned what I was about. I just completely agree with you. I think this is something which Mikel is doing, that he has been preferring Nketiah over Lacazette for the away games. Little strange. I would like to see Laka playing more games, because according to me, it's that one goal that is missing, and once that goal comes, probably he'll be in much better form. So yeah, that seems the most justified reason for why NKTB is being picked. Having said that, I just joined in a couple of minutes back, so I just want to add one more thing with the centre back pair. I don't know whether this was covered already, so apologies if it's repetitive. I don't like the fact of Kolasinac as the centre back. I think one reason could be the physicality of Traore, but again he's not good at aerial balls, Kolasinac, and Wolves, as we know, that they depend a lot on the corners and the free kicks. I would have loved to have Holding in the team, but yeah, overall again similar to the Southampton game, not very excited looking at the lineup, but let's see how we turn out on the pitch.
We can also look at Oba just being one goal away from scoring 20 goals in the league this season. This is the first time an Arsenal player is doing that after the great Thierry Henry. So, Jomi, your thoughts on having a striker who's doing that? And we've seen that we haven't had anyone over the past decades.
oh Yeah, just want to touch on what you asked, Ankur, before I go to that, right? So, pretty much the lineup is what we will see next season, or at least what Arteta wants to see next season, barring a couple of them in the starting 11 today, given the circumstances for some of the players. So, Laka, because of that, misses out. Nketiah, I honestly don't know why he starts like a lot of people, but he is given those opportunities to see whether he can do good, and Laka probably cannot match the pace of the opposition. So all in all, Laka misses out, but he'll definitely come on as a sub if he's in. Um, Going to having a great forward for Arsenal after ages. Is something to talk a lot about the club, right? I mean, it's been ages since we've got somebody like Aubameyang. I wouldn't even say um, that he's awesome. He's at par with Henry, but definitely his stats help him. He's doing a lot of the hard work for the club. Um, if he hits those 20 goals, right, it's a great achievement, and especially for somebody who I mean, people say it takes time for players to cope up to the English Premier League. I mean, he kind of took it very easy. Again, advantages of having a decent player to come in. I think after Henry, Van Persie was the only one who did have a lot of those talent, irrespective of what he did or how many games he played. But I think after RVP, definitely, if he ever had a decent striker, it's Aubameyang, and I wish if he leaves, if whenever he leaves, that is in 3 years or 4 years time, we definitely have somebody as good as him to always replace him.
We have Vinay joining in. So Vinay, we're just talking about Oba just being one goal away from another season of 20 goals in the Premier League. Your thoughts on him with his contract situation and also being one of the best cycles that we had in the long, long time.
Thanks, guys, for having me in. I'm sorry that I was a bit late. Aubameyang is probably our best striker after Van Persie left, right? The goals, the strike rate, the consistency. So it was fairly apparent that we have a striker in our on our hands. So yeah, 20 goals again in a season is amazing. I was reading some stats about him, and I think one of the differences from his Dortmund days to Arsenal days has probably been that he's scoring a lot more, um, wherein which has got to do with the fact that he's scoring it from outside the box. Whereas I think I may be wrong or I may be right, but I think there was a lot of notes about the Dortmund stats which said I think 98 of I think 97 of his 98 goals were from inside the box. So I think a few good things which has changed, which is great. But I just wanted to, I know you guys would have already dwelled upon the team news. I'm just mixing it up. Again, I'm sorry. Did we talk about the team news, or are we going to talk about it?
Yeah, we're done with the team news. So, but your thoughts on the team? Go on. Yeah.
So just one thought again. This just yesterday we were having our podcast, and one of the questions by our host Anjan was that has things changed under Mikel? It's like that 2 steps front and 1 step back is what I feel or I sense whenever I see such things happen. Today's team news, basically the team selection indicates that we don't want to lose. It's not got to do with we wanting to win. It's more so a team which is very pragmatic, and it's saying like, look, we just want to ensure that we don't lose, simply because if we lose, I think we'll go to 11th. If we win, we are 3 points behind Wolves. Now, which would we take or which would I take? Obviously, a win. But I think Mikel has chosen the safer option. I think he's like, I'm okay if we damage control. But he should, I hope he has looked forward to see what kind of fixtures are coming up. I think this team selection, frankly speaking, sucks.
But when you're looking at the fixtures, it's not getting easy after this, right? We play Liverpool, then we play Leicester as well. So based on that, I think this is our best chance to win. And from a consistency perspective, I think the team is the same kind of team that we play away. Maybe apart from Pepe starting on the right.
No,
But yeah, for him to go
I
defensive,
really don't get
yeah,
the saving players part. I may differ on the personnel, but saving players, considering we got just what 7 games now, and the
but who
only
is he
realistic
saving for the
chances.
game? Sorry, yeah.
I would play Pepe. I'm
Pepe is
surprised
out.
he.
No, Pepe is out because of his wife having going into labor today. That's why he's unavailable.
Okay, okay. My question remains. So, who are your attacking threats? Then you're just relying that Aubameyang scores.
I guess that's mainly about it, and having the wing backs cross in for the wingers and Nketiah.
Yeah, and Ketia, I still not convinced. But let's. As I told you, this is just set up to say let's limit the damage, and I won't be surprised if it's going to be the same team for the next 3-4 games, as you rightly said. Leicester, Spurs, Liverpool, still there. But with due respect to Wolves, this was a game Arsenal, considering that we are coming in with a little bit of form, right? Three games having been won. I thought this was the right game to go ahead and say, let's make a statement. Let's be honest, it's Wolves. We should think like that rather than saying, oh my God, it's Wolves. That's what I felt when I saw the team. Though they are definitely better than us this season, but when do we ever say like, come on, let's beat them?
Just
Yeah, so
changing the
I just
game.
want to jump in. Yeah, I just
Yeah,
want to
go on,
jump
go on.
in there. So that's the right. I mean, whatever Vinay mentioned is what I sort of resonate, right? Because we've always been like, oh my God, it's Wolves, rather than oh come on, it's Wolves. It's not like I think Ferguson used to say, guys, it's Spurs or something like that. So I think that is the kind of attitude we should be going with. Yes, they have been better than us this season. The table says so, but I think it's high time. See, Arteta is imposing his philosophy of whatever, the style of football, the culture that he's trying to bring in. I think he also needs to bring in that thought process in the players' minds where they should be able to think, yes, we have that, capability to go at any ground and give our best and win the game. Whether the players carry that attitude, I'm not sure. So, whether or not the team news reflects that, I think it's up to the individual players. So, for example, we've been discussing about whether Laka should have started or AD should have started. I think either one of them, they should give their 100%. I know they will, but I think the quality that we have with whatever form that Spurs are in, I think we should go in and play like Arsenal and just get it done with.
I have a quick question here. So what lineup would have made you guys happy then? Because apart from holding in for Kolasinac, and yeah, sure, I mean, I prefer Lacazette too, but I mean, I can see why Nketiah starts on some level because he seems to somehow get goals and Lacazette simply cannot get a goal right now. So what would have made you feel that this is that we've gone there for a win then?
No, for me, I don't think it's the actual team starting 11 that is an area of concern. You can, like you said, there are 5 subs. You can push in anyone at any point of time. You could have kept somebody else on the bench and started. So my only worry is about the attitude that the players in the squad, overall squad, might carry. Other than that, I believe whoever starts, whoever is on the bench coming on should do the job.
Vinay, your thoughts on Vivek's question on what else could have been done on the squad?
No, I was not aware of the Pepe part, frankly, and I just sense that I mean, hopefully the game tells a different story. But the moment I saw the team news, I was just like, you are setting it up not to lose. And I agree, maybe in a normal circumstance, you would probably be saying that when you're going away. But I think that away thing, that whole thing needs to be tossed out of the window. These are the games that you make a statement at least somewhere. I do get why Nketiah starts because, let's be honest, like I said, it was horrible last game. Uh, if he couldn't score the chances that he got against Norwich, he's unlikely to score against Wolves. But this whole thing of going ahead and just saying like, look, I'm going to play this extremely compact team on paper is going to bounce back into playing into Wolves' hands simply because you can watch Jimenez, Jota, all those guys licking their lips and saying like, "Oh, this midfield is open." I really don't know what else are we setting this team up for because this is, I think, what's going to be seen against Leicester, what's going to be seen against Spurs. So that means you realistically are saying we don't stand a chance of beating any of them. Leicester have been horrible from the time the restart has started. If
They
you
won
don't say
3-0
like,
today.
okay, we're going to do that, when will we ever do? So we are already giving up on these games, is what I feel. Now we're just hit and hope. Hope Aubameyang scores, and then say thank God for that. Or one of those games that just turns out to be the way we got the Sheffield win. I think basically we conceded very late, and then we have hardly had a last-minute goal ever in recent memory. I think the Vermaelen goal against Newcastle is probably the one that comes to my mind. But this just, I'm sorry, it's just too pessimistic, this team.
So I again go with what Vivek said. Something um, a different thought process, like what Vivek was trying to say. See, Pepe is a forced move, forced change. So there's nothing much that we can do. Um, I would have only complained about the center forward and the left back. Other than that, pretty much everybody would remain the same. So you would have wanted to see Laka start instead of Enketia, and with Pepe not joining, I think Kolasinac gets that chance to start, right? So I think it's going to be three at the back with four at the back as we defend, three at the back as we go forward, or however Arteta keeps changing his formation from what at least what he's been trying to do in the last few games. So um, it's it's a mixed. It's a problem, right? When you do not have a lot of players fit, you do not have some players who needs to be starting these games because we are not going to be using them next season. So this is where the problem is, and this is where the issue of our midfield. Unfortunately, Ceballos and Xhaka starts. They're the only two ones who've been doing a good job. Now, who comes instead of them? Xhaka starts for sure. Um, Torreiro, I think he's still getting
He's on the
fit.
bench today.
Yeah, he's still getting fit, right? So you wouldn't want to give him starting 11. So fair enough, right? Then who else? The other person with the back pain, I wouldn't want to take his name. Um, it is a big issue, right? Because Ozil being in the being at the club but not in your starting level is a problem. I think we are ready to live with it. And then the other option is Gundozi, but I think everybody is aware of what's going on or has already hinted at he not being there with us for a long time. So if Gundozi goes out, now who else is there? Then you have Niles. Um, I mean, I'm sure a lot of people would have had problems if he started today. So we do not have a lot of options in the midfield. We are packed with wingers and forwards and CBs. So yeah, I mean it's a headache that Arteta has for now.
So something that I've been thinking, right? We know that Luis has had a lot of issues with regards to having individual mistakes and errors during games, right? Why not play him at defensive midfield? I know he did that for some time at Chelsea. Thoughts on him actually just going pushing forward and then having two centre backs instead of him playing as one of the centre backs. Just I'm just putting it out, just thinking out loud now.
Yeah, to answer that, I think it would not be a bad idea because I think at some point in time, Wolves may think of overrunning our midfield. Surely, Xhaka and Ceballos cannot withstand that kind of a press. And at some point in time, Xhaka will, try to pass it out an escape route, and that will land at some Wolves player. And we all know what happens. So I don't understand Xhaka and Ceballos starting. And whatever you mentioned might be an option. Push Luis up front a little bit, so he plays the holding role and bring the actual holding into the center back role. That is something I think can be done. Then again, it's Arteta who is driving this team. So the midfield. Torreira is just back from an injury. I am not sure how fit he is, whether he's match fit or not, or just making up the numbers. And even if he is starting, I am not sure how he will be able to withstand the press, because I think Wolves are very physical and they press a lot. Um, so there goes the midfield options, and Niles again, with all his quick feet, sometimes he will try something fancy that will again lead to problems. So like Jomi mentioned, this is all what we have, and I think we are trying to go with what we have. It begs me the question, okay, fine, you're starting very good. Oba, tries to poach a goal. Excellent. We are 1-0 up, and we are having Tierney and Cedric Suarez to, pump in the crosses. Excellent. What happens if none of these, work out? Ceballos, I remember the only couple of games he's had good so far is one, the Burnley game, and I think recently after he came on the Sheffield game, and maybe somewhere in between one of the games he was decent enough. What happens if there are if we don't create enough? Yes, it's an away game. Do we always wait for hit and hope? So whatever problems we have with some of the players in the squad, I think the agenda of keeping them out overrides our needs, our need of getting the point. Sure, Willock can come on later, but I don't think he has it in him to do the job. So yeah, it begs the question: why not have the players who are kept outside deliberately, um, and at least use them whenever there's a need to.
Now, Ankur, you had some thoughts on the midfield combination and the availability.
Yeah, I mean, about Lewis, I have been saying this since the day he joined, that Lewis is probably a better defensive midfielder than he's a defender. Yes, as you mentioned, it could have been an option, but I think Mikel wanted to have more options in the defense on bench. I think in the bench today we only have Bellerin and Holding, right? Or do we have Socrates also on bench today? I'm sorry, I missed it.
We do have Socrates on the bench.
Oh, so yeah, I mean, Lewis can be used as a defensive midfielder, but it doesn't looks like Arsenal or Mikel would be doing that. But yeah, this could have been a good option. But having said that, I think Ceballos has been in good run of form. Probably Mikel decided to take that into factor and give him a chance. That could be one of the reason, or the another reason would be, as Jomi mentioned, that who do we actually pick? So I completely agree with Vivek that although we are kind of disappointed with the playing 11, but I think apart from Lacazette starting in place of Nketiah and Holding starting in place of uh, in place of Kolasinac, probably we don't have any options as well. So yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. So
I
just to add, right, Kirti, on the question of David Lewis, right? I always wanted him to show his skills at defensive midfield. That's something that I was always looking forward to. I think just one game is when I think Emery used him. I'm not sure. I think I still recollect one game that Emery probably used him. But
Yeah,
um,
yeah.
uh, yeah,
And
other,
and the thing is, got a centre back injured and then he went back to centre back. So we never saw him 90 minutes. So
Yeah,
go ahead. Sorry.
he and Chambers, I still don't understand why they both have never been used in those positions. Lewis, yes, we don't want to venture a lot with him being in defensive midfield, but Chambers was somebody that I was also looking forward to. But again, a lot of changes in managers, or coaches, if you want to call them right now, but they've not seen them use those two players in that position. So um, we as fans would want to see it, but not the coaches.
Okay, let's get into prediction time now.
Kirti,
So
I
everyone
just
watching
had
the stream.
one
Yeah,
line
Ganesh.
I couldn't help but say that Ceballos, Xhaka, David Luiz. I'm just taking this into consideration that we are looking at David Luiz as a defensive midfielder. Just a thought that is. So imagine this line: Xhaka. Uh, Sorry, Ceballos, Xhaka, and David Luiz. That movie title can be termed as Legs Wide Open. I rest my case.
Wow.
Oh,
Yes.
just a thought, Vinay. It's a thing still hypothetical. We might see that happening during the game here and there when Luis wants to just move forward. But let's see what happens on that. Moving on to prediction time. So everyone who's watching the stream, guys, put down your predictions. We will give a shout out to whoever gets it right. So guys, prediction time. So Vinay, let's start off with you.
Wolves win. I don't want to say any number.
Harsh
Vivek.
Vinay, harsh Vinay. Vinay is
Horrible.
in a harsh mode today.
No.
For
I
the wrong
agree
set
to
of
your thing about Chambers. I think we should have tried Chambers at defensive midfield. I totally agree.
Okay, Vivek is going next, so I will go after.
I was just saying when I walk over the wrong side of the bed clearly today. Uh, I think I somehow don't see us losing. I think it's going to be a 1-1 draw.
So I also don't see us losing. I want us to keep winning, right? So I'm going to keep a 1-2 win to us. It's going to be a tough game. This is going to be a tough game. But I really want us to be winning. So the heart and the mind says 1-2 today to the Arsenal.
Anjan, your thoughts, your predictions.
Yeah, so opposite to what Vivek said, I don't like he mentioned that he doesn't see us losing. I don't see us winning. So I think it is going to be a 2-2 draw. Then again, I don't know. I have this weird feeling that if we somehow get a 2-1 win, hard for 2-1 win, I think it will be an excellent game where we would come out with such a result. So hoping against the odds there, but I will go with the 2-2 draw.
Ankur, your predictions?
Yeah, so I mean, my heart says we'll win, but my mind says we won't. So I think probably today I'll go with my heart. I think we will be able to nick a 2-1 draw. Sorry, 2-1 win. Because looking at the remaining fixtures which we have, it's pretty tough number of games. So having a win today is extremely important, and I think the team would be mentally prepared as well. So I think yeah, an exciting game, 2-1 win for us.
Okay,
Yeah, and quickly, Elroy's prediction 1-0 to the Arsenal.
don't see us keeping a clean sheet, Vivek, here, not away game. So I would stick with a 1-1 draw from my end. Everyone watching the stream, thank you for joining in. So we are going to have a Facebook Live during the halftime. Do join us there, and we'll also have another stream post match on YouTube as well. So thank you guys for joining. Subscribe to Arsenal Bangalore for more discussions post match, pre match, and halftime discussions. Come on, you Gunners.
Thank you.
Come on,
Come on, you
Gunners.